Welcome to Mick and the Psychic, where we leave no stone unturned as we explore all things outside the apparent physical realm.
There is no intent to teach or make you believe or disbelieve anything. It is just a safe space to listen and explore with us.
So for this next episode, you have permission to open your heart and mind as you join myself and Xzavia on this deep dive into the unknown.
Your lessons, you're going to keep trying to connect to each other and find each other every time you come to Earth or whatever other planet it is.
So usually it's just going to be myself and Xzavia and a guest. But today we're doing a little bit of a treat because we have Daniel Brito. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's good.
In Aussie terms, Daniel Brito. And the reason why Daniel's on here and the reason why he's not on a separate screen or coming through differently is because he is actually with Xzavia and you guys are a twin flame. So we're going to be talking about twin flames. And so welcome, Daniel. And also I have to say to you guys, because I haven't said this yet, congratulations on your engagement. I know that happened exactly a year and like 5 days ago or something, but
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So you're twin flame and fiance as well.
Yeah. More official in this life. Very exciting.
And you guys
Feels
are
like it's been many years and lives.
Oh wow, we're going to get to that as well. I was just going to start really light. It's like, oh, you guys going to get married this year, and you like straight into we've had many lives together. It's like, wow, bang.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those podcasts. Anyway, that's cool. Can we start with though, which I'm sure lots of people are probably wondering as well, like, what is a twin flame? Can you guys like give me your idea on like what that is, just to start with?
Do you want to explain a bit or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's more, the actual proper term is divine flame rather than twin flame.
Okay.
Yeah, so, because twin, I think the word twin kind of gives the connotation that they're there to make you whole. Yeah, so yeah, divine flames is more
it feels good to us. You can call it what you like, I guess.
yeah.
The traditional is twin flame, but yeah, we sort of like the term divine flame, as was explained to us by a different psychic that did a reading for us. Because twin, it makes you feel like you're a part of a whole and you're not complete. So it sort of helps people understand a bit more that you aren't half of anything, really.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was going to ask that as well, like, you know, whether like you felt like what you've like been half a person until you met each other and now you feel whole, or is it something that's like a completely different dimension to what you've always
it's like, so I'm like, where do I start? Because explaining about what a twin flame or divine flame is I'll just keep calling it twin flame. I think it's just easier. Is to explain a bit about why we come here and the souls in our bodies and all that kind of stuff, because it's part of the story. So to go back a little bit, this is a bit of a blow your brain if this is a new concept to anybody listening or watching or yourself, that our whole soul could not fit in our physical body because it'd be too much and we'd explode. So there's only like a part of our soul in our physical body. Some would believe from like research or experience or intuitive guidance that some might have more of a soul in their body than others, which doesn't really mean anything. It might just mean that they're more tuned in or something, spiritually. And so you can actually have another life happening at the same time somewhere else. Like part of your soul can be, because we're impatient, our souls want to learn as much as possible and grow and evolve and ultimately get back to source. That's what many would believe is the reason that we're here. It's like a school, Earth and other planets and places it's like a training ground or a school for our soul. So that's why, as a psychic, for example, I can, when I'm talking to someone tuning in, I can communicate with their higher self because that's the main part of them, kind of like a point up there. It's kind of like up there, wherever on earth it is. Oh, I'm sorry, wherever on earth, wherever it is,
Wherever
on
in
earth,
the dimension.
whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. And part of their soul, so the main part of their soul is knows everything, knows all their lives, the past lives, current lives, if there's others going on. And you're sort of like a beacon tuning in and sending messages back to your higher self, the rest of your soul, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
with that, like, I guess when you're talking about how much of a soul can fit into a person, you know, it's obviously, you're not talking about a shape. You're not talking about physical fit, because you're talking about something from a different dimension. How, you know, if someone weighs, you know, 300 or 250 kilograms, maybe they could fit more soul in there. It's not that, is it? It's not got to do with stature, because you're quite tall, Lex. So, like, you know, I don't know what you're talking about here. If it's not a size thing, you're talking about how much is it? How much is here as a person, or how much you're tuning into from another source?
Yeah, we could. That's a question. I don't like have to tune in to figure out the answer.
Yeah.
It could be that the more you the spiritually aware and open-minded and connected and closer to love you become, the more you would tune in to that. Or are you accessing more of your higher self, or are you just part more of your soul getting in your body? I don't know how it actually works.
So when you say closer to love, do you mean like love that you have for other people, or is love explaining something else? I'm just trying to break. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to break down some terms.
Like love for everything, like everything to me, from my experience, that's the ultimate form of growth spiritually and understanding is
it's just acceptance, unconditional love.
For everything and anybody, no matter what the circumstances are, understanding that we are all each other. So at some point we all come from the same place.
Exactly. We're not separate. Not
separate to the flies. And so that's another, like, so imagine how much of a soul could fit in a fly.
Okay.
And how many flies they are they all like one consciousness, one soul,
right?
And when you see an area, or are they all individual,
right?
Like when you see birds flying together, is that because they're connected and they're one soul, all in harmony, and that's why they fly together? Or is it another phenomenon?
Got you.
Blades of grass is a soul like in a whole one blade of grass, or is it in a whole meadow? Are they all collective souls and consciousnesses mixing together, or is it just one and they all
Well, it's like ants or bees, they
work together and they just know what to do?
One,
Yes, they could just
almost
be one
telepathically.
Correct,
it could be one soul in 1,000 ants in the one colony, for example.
Largest organism. There you go. Largest, I don't know the largest orgasm on Earth. I've got nothing to do with that. I definitely don't. Largest organism on Earth is meant to be like a group of mushrooms. Yeah. So like, you know, they obviously that's that kind of connection thing that you're getting at. Okay. All right. So we have to understand, to be able to understand kind of twin flame or divine flame, we have to start with at least the concept of us being beacons of a higher self and having a certain amount from that higher self that comes in. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. And
good.
Maybe for yourself or the viewers, a good books to be able to read about this to help you understand is from Dolores Cannon.
Yep.
She's amazing. If you look her up, and she's got about 15 or so different books, but I think 8 of them cover the soul topic and past lives and how that affects us now, and physical ailments, how that from past lives.
Yeah. So now you're like tapping into my world, which is great, because she was a hypnotherapist and just getting on with her business as usual. But all of these people were coming to her with messages, all of her clients, not all of her clients, some clients were coming to her with messages in that, let's say, trance state or hypnotic state that was leading towards a bigger story for her to write. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of that premise is covered in some of the stuff that she's written down from her experience
Absolutely.
with clients. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, it'll just blow your mind. Like just it'll make your mind from small to like large, and then you wouldn't be able to. It'll be explode.
And then you try to fit a ball.
And then trying to understand it, and then it'll explode again.
So this is a warning. This is a warning that goes with these books. Yeah.
If you're not ready for that, then don't bother picking a book up. But for us, it was confirmation, because I was discovering some of this stuff with my own clients, and then I learned about twin flames myself in the past, and discovered that I was one. So then I started doing some courses and classes trying to learn about it and connect with my twin flame and find out what all that meant. And then I would get a book handed to me by Dolores Cannon, and it confirmed all these things that was coming up for me. So it was perfect. So back to your question about what is a twin flame.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're getting there. This is good. We need a premise to start, because you can't just jump in and say what it is.
Foundation,
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
That was fun. You're going to love this bit. So in saying that, so a lot of people, you get misinformation about twin flames.
Sure.
They start reading a few things and get all confused. First thing is, not everybody has one, and it really doesn't matter if you do or don't. We all have different reasons why we come here to Earth for whatever lesson we're having. So you can have soulmates. Some people have a twin flame. Doesn't matter the numbers. You might read there's a certain amount of numbers. It might be, definitely not everybody has one. And again, definitely irrelevant. The point is, so because we explained before that you can have another life going on somewhere at the same time, most of the time, you're not even supposed to know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. Like you could be, Michael, born in China tomorrow, because, and I say this to everybody, you could be born in China tomorrow just because your soul's a bit impatient, got work to do, and it wants to learn some new things and start a life over there. You never have to meet or know anything about each other. In saying that, I have had to disconnect a few of my clients before from a past life that they were tracking a current life that they were tracking and picking up from somebody else at the time. And it was they were affecting each other. So I disconnected and cleared it so that it wasn't affecting them anymore, and they could just go about their lives.
So they were being affected by their
something else.
Twin flame?
No, not the twin flame. This was just a part of their soul doing another life. Not meant to meet, like just but because it's sometimes the connection can, like, they are connected to the same higher self, it was crossing over. Like, for example, quick example, I was doing a healing on somebody, and I just got drawn to their legs, and I felt like something was going on with their legs. And as I asked them, I said, I'm just doing some healing. What's been going on with your legs? And she said, it's funny, I said, from your knees down. And she said, I've been getting pins and needles in the mornings from my knees down. I said, that's funny, because I'm just seeing that there's another life you have currently of somebody who just had their legs amputated from the knees down.
Wow.
So they had another showing that they had gangrene and they got them cut off, and that, so it was like, wow. So I had to do a disconnection, so she wasn't feeling their stuff anymore, and I got shown. That was the first experience I had of what you can have more than one life at a time.
Okay.
Went with it, and I thought it was really strange, but I just did the healing, and she felt great and let me know that the tingling had stopped, and like it didn't happen in the mornings anymore, and so that person could heal and not be connected to. So even though they're the same soul, you just didn't want them affecting each other anymore.
So higher self and soul, is that an interchangeable term, or do you think they're two different things, or is this another podcast?
It's the same thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, great.
I'll probably just call it different stuff. Sorry to confuse.
That's fine. No, that's fine. No, I just want to make sure, because there's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even realize the interchange with words, but yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and so then a twin flame,
yes,
or divine flame, is the reason. So the point, they've sort of the old term is like you've made a deal at some stage that for your lessons, you're going to keep trying to connect to each other and find each other every time you come to Earth or whatever other planet it is. And so you're going to learn lessons along the way. It's like you've signed up for a bigger adventure. Right. So thinking of the lives that we've had, because we know a lot of our past lives that we've had together where we've missed and haven't been together. And so that's what some people will do some research on that. And there's all this stuff about there's a runner and a chaser and all this crap about different aspects. So they might.
Like the different roles either of you would play
Yeah.
in other lives. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's why some people have an issue. They think someone's a twin flame because it's not working exactly, or they're fighting all the time, but they feel so drawn to them and things like that. So yeah, it can be a bit confusing. But what happens is you're supposed to try to go through all these lessons and find each other, and sometimes the timing's not right. So an example of like some of our lives that we've had where the timing wasn't right. So I'm talking too much.
No, this is good.
Yeah, because well, for me, for example, I never really knew anything about twin flames or divine flames. It was for me. I remember when I was about 15 that I felt, and I was wanting to know who I'd be with forever in this life. My wife and my partner, and it was something that I thought of at the time. It was very poignant, and yeah, I didn't. When I first had a girlfriend, for me it was very intense, and having that relationship with her. And then when that ended, it was very difficult for me. And then throughout my life, when I got married, and when I was married, so I suppose I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know myself as well. And it got to a point that I just felt like I was trapped or in prison. And then when I got separated, it made me think really hard on what I wanted in a relationship. And for me, it was about the connection, not just having a superficial relationship and going through the emotions in life with somebody else. And that's when I really thought hard and thought, no, I actually want a connection with someone, not just on a physical level, but emotional, spiritual, sexual as well. And that's when I started searching. And yeah, then I had found someone and she felt the same. And so I thought, well, this is it. This is a relationship that I was wanting all my life. I've been looking for. And then that ended. She ended that, and then I was in probably the lowest time of my life in 2018. And so much so that I didn't want to be here anymore. But I've got 3 kids, and I just didn't want to leave them here. Like I didn't want for them to have that, with them for the rest of their life if I left.
Burden, sure.
Yeah, and I had gone to see a psychic, and she said some of the things that she had said is that I would to give her time and she'd come back, which didn't end up happening. And I thought, well, maybe she wasn't really a psychic, but thinking about it, I think it helped me from what she said about being balanced, to be able to search that balance within myself. And so that's what made me search and find someone that would help me balance my inner spirit.
You want to balance your chakras.
Yeah, your chakras. And so that led me to searching, and where I lived not far, which I usually would drive past, is where Xzavia worked. And so I remember going there one day and saying, can you help me balance my chakras? And she's like, yeah, I can help you. And so, yeah, from then on, that's, yeah, that experience of when she did that, it was very, very emotional. And that's why she looked into the past life. And at the time, I thought it was with my ex at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I recorded it and wrote down questions, and I would go home and analyze that. and everything that she said, and everything that my questions that I had within myself. And then I came back to it again. I said, well, you said this, but it didn't make sense. And yeah, and then because she was talking about twin flames, that the ex that I was with was in a past life, and we were twin flames. And I'm like, what's this kind of thing?
Okay.
Yeah, I can explain my side of the story of why.
Yeah, and then so then because of the question, I was analyzing it so much. I said, I asked her, is that you and not my ex? Yeah. And
what made you ask that though? Like what? Because I guess what I'm seeing here, like from when you're 15 years old, you've got this, whatever this drive is to find somebody. And a lot of people have that because, they feel like a partner will complete them, but perhaps this is something that maybe is a bit deeper for you. And I guess you can't comment on that because you've only really been you this time around on Earth. But in finding love, which you found love before, someone that meets all of those things that ticks off the box, and then this experience of finding a twin flame, how was that different? What was different about the twin flame side of thing? What made you really emotional, do you think?
Most people want to have a partner or find their other half kind of thing. I think for me it was different because I felt that deep about it at such a young age.
Okay.
And I don't know why that was. And it's like something from within, I suppose.
Like you've always been on a mission or something since you're a teenager.
Yeah. And like, even though I went through the teenage years and young adult and growing up and so on, it was always in the back of my mind.
Right.
I was there. And so, yeah, I think it's just because I don't know. I suppose I just feel things more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What more now, or you did from when you were 15? You had those kind of feelings. Did you find that when you met Xzavia, you had more, or met your twin flame, you felt you had more deeper feelings, or?
It was definitely more. What's the word? Intense. That's the word.
Okay. Okay. So it brought it out.
Yeah. When I met her, it was
always
just
there.
Yeah, extremely, very intense. It wasn't something that I experienced in a relationship with somebody else. Yeah.
So the reason, because we were talking about, I love how you went into the story. So we've gone into the story.
That's good. Is great. That's all right. That's
I can explain my part of that story.
Yeah, sure.
Of why, like, as you said, I told him as I was doing the past life stuff that it was his ex he was pining over.
Right.
What was happening is me, psychic professional, trust my intuition 1000%, which is a big deal. And I had to do a lot of work to get there. I'm doing this past life on this lovely man who was heartbroken. I was balancing him, he tears and emotional, releasing stuff. I'm married at the time, and I'm doing a past life stuff, and it was me, and I saw me, and then I saw that he was my twin flame, and I was so confused because I'd stopped working on it. I just accepted that my marriage was going to be as it was, and I was hoping my partner would evolve and accept me for how I was, and maybe twin flame would merge with him, and that's a whole nother story. And all this stuff. I'd been communicating with my twin flame during meditation, for a few years, and writing letters and all this stuff. And then I'm seeing him. So professional me thought, this is the only time I've ever lied to a client. That was to Daniel, because I felt like I couldn't tell him, like, how unprofessional would that be if he's grieving on my table, going through all this healing, and I said, oh, by the way, I'm a twin flame. Like, what the? So I lied and said it was the ex that he was talking about.
Wow. And being married yourself, that's like,
I was married, like, it was
confronting.
just confusing. Yeah. So I was just like, what the heck? And so of course, now knowing him, knowing how much he analyzes things and looks into it, and he plays back recordings, and I can totally understand that he would analyze the crap out of everything I said, picks me up on my
he looked into it. Sorry.
And intuitively not understanding that he was already, I believe he was getting those messages from his higher self at a young age, because for this reason, so he'd be more aware of what he needed to look for when he was older at the right time. It was all divine timing. So that's how it happened. And then I just confessed when he asked me outright, I said, actually, yes. And then we talked about it more, and the rest is history. So trusting my intuition so much, I ended up leaving my marriage, even though I also have 3 children. Because I wasn't happy, but I decided I was going to settle. And that's when he walked into my door at work for a healing.
Wow.
So we met, but I healed him from a broken heart. Basically.
Wow.
Story. Yes. So
amazing. I guess it's so interesting. And I think that'll play into a few things. Like one of the questions that came up from what you were saying was, when you're talking about the higher self or the soul having different lives at the same time. So, your legs get gangrene and another person is experiencing tingling. It's so interesting. But
so weird.
With something like that, what's then the difference between, say, the concept of a soul having multiple lives and actual twin flames, or are they all twin flames?
That's what I was just about to explain. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So the soul having, like, that's all part of your same soul. If you've got another life happening at the same time, not everybody would. You might just have one, because maybe that's all your higher self can handle at the moment. I don't know.
Sure.
Everyone's different, and I can do that when I do a healing. I can suss that out for them and look into it. But a twin flame or divine flame is, the whole point of them is they are supposed to meet and be together. We are 2 parts of the same soul.
Okay.
So, but we're ones that have met, and we're supposed to meet for the reason of, when we're together, it amplifies our energy. We help people. You are normally, one or both would be some kind of healer or intuitive, or do something for people or animals. And when you come together, you're stronger together. Your energy is just like quadruples, not doubles, just because there's 2 of you. It's quite intense. That's why there's all these rumors about the sexual energy and stuff as well. There's a balance, like, from our experience, and for the other twin flames we have met. So there are a very few actual couples that are united that we've met, but we know of people that are twin flames, and it's actually something I can find out for people as well. Tooting my own horn a lot today, aren't I? It doesn't mean they're going to be united with their twin flame. Like, they might have one, but so often it's like, well, they're not actually going to be together this life because of the age gap, or maybe they're married, or sometimes it's just sibling or something. So it's not the right circumstance for their final union when they're done and they've found each other. So it might be in another life, but the work you do on yourself every life brings you closer. If you're a twin flame, brings you closer to finding them in the next one at the right time, to be an actual couple. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So that's the difference.
So it's like, if there is a soul having separate lives, twin flames are those separate lives that are meant to meet together.
Yes.
But you're talking about past lives as well. So
yeah, we've had many together where we, like, there was one where I was born the same time he died or something like that. Or there's one where I was his mother, or there's one where we were
Okay.
siblings, or we just started, the first past life, but when I taught you how to heal your own past lives, he died, you're a kamikaze pilot in the war, and he had a little picture and of a girl he was writing to, that he just started writing to when he joined the army, and that was me, but we never actually even started dating. We were just pen pals, and I was his twin, like that was me in that life. So we've had all these experiences. We've visited quite a few of them. There's more. I think, what was it, we had 150 together that we know
wow.
of, but we visited like maybe 50 or something. Doesn't matter, it's kind of like irrelevant. We don't need to keep knowing what they are, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. But yeah, so we're always missing each other. So all these lessons we've learned in all these lives, and some of them are just stressful and horrible, and others are lovely, or we only know each other for 5 minutes, or we get to be together once or something. And so then, because we weren't quite evolved yet and quite there yet, this time we're finally here, which is really cool.
This sounds
so
like the premise for an awesome movie, by the way. Can you imagine?
Hey, imagine that, cutting to all the different scenes of the past lives we know. It would be so cool. We could definitely, we've been taking notes. And
It's kind of like Sense8, isn't it? Like,
yeah, Serious
like,
Sense8, I love that. It's a bit like that. So you could jump to all these cool scenes, and like some of them aren't on Earth.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so some people are, how many people are going, oh my God, you guys are too weird, see ya.
This is interesting. What's come to me though, like out of that is,
Yes.
so do twin flames have to be like romantically involved? Could it just be like, you know, one of my mates is a twin flame? Do you know what I mean? That, you know, I hang out with and skated with in high school. I don't know. Like, is there, does it have to be a romantic attachment for twin flames to exist?
I thought so, but if you go reading, it is. But then one of my first mentors, her twin flame is her bestie, and the bestie was married. It wasn't working out, and they're living together and having an amazing life. These two women, but they're not gay.
Okay.
And they have this amazing connection, and they're twin flames, and they work together, and they're stronger together and doing amazing things and living their best life and helping others and doing great things. So I say the answer is no, you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Usually it's a masculine and feminine balance. So one of them might have more masculine energy than feminine, but at the same time, I feel like the reason why we both found each other at the timing we did is because when Daniel finally was willing to work on himself and figure it out. And then I had done so much work on myself during my marriage and learning about myself and growing. And so then we were ready. So you're not supposed to, it's not the polar opposite energy of you that one needs to be fixed. You need to both be willing to grow and be both balanced in masculine and feminine energy. Be okay with your shadow side. You pull each other up. Like it's such a different connection with us than I've had as well in experiences of my past relationships. It's someone that, or you know, if I pull him up about something, and it goes both ways. It's not, I'm not like, just because I'm shiny doesn't mean I'm perfect. So you know, he'll want to grow. He'll want to learn from whatever happened and want some feedback and be willing to work on himself. Whereas I haven't had that experience with many men personally, and from what I know from lots of other people, there's not many men. The masculine has a harder time from experience, from what I've heard from friends. Being able to let their ego go a little bit and be okay with the feminine side of the emotional side, the nurturing side. And so and same with the other way around. Women sometimes might be too focused on, not too focused, no such thing as too, so focused on the masculine energy for themselves because of unequal opportunity and things like that. They've put them, and then they've lost their feminine energy, and it's so confusing. So having that balance. And then balancing each other and complementing each other, weaknesses and strengths, all that kind of stuff about the twin flame. But it's also the same with soulmates. Like it's about having that person that winds you up, but helps you grow. If one's like, we're very, very different. He's way more organized and articulate and structured than I am, and I'm all fluffy off with the fairy. So he grounds me, and I lift him up, raise his vibrations. It's great.
So that brings up soulmates, right? So soulmates and twin flames, are they different things?
Yes.
Could you be a twin flame and a soulmate? Or are they completely different things? Like a
Twin
soulmate
flames
literally.
have plenty of soulmates. Soulmates
Right.
can be soulmates are people you've had other lives with. That's the simplest way to explain it.
Aha.
You've just been with them before.
And they help you get over your obstacles, or help you grow. Yeah, help you.
They could be the obstacle because they
Yeah.
promised to be like, your mum in a past life could have promised to be the jerk that breaks your heart when you were 15,
Right.
just to teach you that lesson because you needed help with it. And so, and everyone would have experienced this at some stage in their life when you meet someone, it could have been you with your partner, you're like, wow, I feel like I've known you forever. And you just have this connection with them and it just feels easy. And that's why the souls from past lives that you've had experience with volunteers for those roles. So you have this intuitive feeling like you know them. Otherwise, you might not have that connection to get talking and stuff in the first place.
Gotcha.
So it pulls you in because you feel something, you're not sure what it is. Well, that's that past connection.
Okay. Yeah.
So then you listen to it and you have this relationship with them, whether it's a friend that popped into your life for just a year or a relationship that lasts like a whole marriage. Or you have this one, you wonder why you're just someone's closer with one of their kids, one of their parents more. They might have just had more lives with them, or they've got some karma and stuff to work on together. And so they just need to be together again.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one bit for me that I can't work out.
Let's go.
And so that is like, when we're talking about, and it's not necessarily to do with twin flames, but the concept behind where a twin flame can come up is, if there's past lives, and we're talking about the same soul, how is it that, like, is there like a level of souls there? So, where you talk about Daniel's past lives, or you talk about Xzavia's past lives, but you're still talking about the same soul. So what's the agreement between who's doing that agreement? Is there like some kind of intermediate soul within that
The
one
higher
soul that's having those past lives that are having those interactions to then come there? Or do you know what I mean? Otherwise it's just one soul having a whole lot of past lives. Where's the connection between those past lives and those two particular personalities, being Daniel and Xzavia now? Like, is there another level there that's having this interaction and leading up to this now?
Yeah, that'd be like the
if you don't know, that's cool.
Yeah, the higher self. When I talk about the higher self, or the soul, I guess I just call it the higher self. That's the all-knowing part of you. That's like, imagine it like there's a version of you up there above your head, because that's kind of like when I'm shooting into something, that's where I see them, like they're just up.
Okay.
Whatever up is. And so I'm communicating with them, and that's like they're all seeing or knowing. They know all of your past lives, your current lives. They know everything, and that's the bigger part of you that I'm tuning into, or you can tune into for yourself when you ask questions and stuff.
Sure.
So there's a part of you. So for us, it's the same higher self for both of us, and we're like transmitting all the time information about the planet and stuff, not unknowingly or knowingly if you're really tuned in and stuff. So yeah, and if there's another version of one of us or both, like the same higher self somewhere else on the planet or anywhere else, they're doing the same thing, we're just unaware of them.
So is it the same highest? So if it's the same higher self, are you tuning into the same higher self? So if I were to do a past life regression with Xzavia, would that like have some of Daniel's mixed in there because it's the same higher self?
I would believe so. It's the same higher self. Yes.
So you're not. Like this is the thing. Okay, so...
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Right. Yeah, sure.
Although you could go right back, and just to be more confusing, people would say, well, we all come from God or source. So then all those higher selves are then also connected to the next tier up, or 20 tiers up.
So there are kind of levels to it.
Because we're all, because
but
we're all
the direct
connected
level,
to everybody. I am you, you are me, I am the be outside, like we're everything. So that'd be another hierarchy or level, I guess.
Okay.
And that's what people don't understand, is that how really connected we all are.
Yeah.
And like, I know this is kind of going to a different subject, but like, for example, the extraterrestrials and the UFOs and people that have experiences with that, they've been told by them or by the star people, as the native Indians, for example, would call them. They tell them how we should remember that we all connected, because we all come from the same place.
So to aliens, and then that's another level again. So aliens would be like this. There's someone else interviewing in the future about this question too.
It's going to a different subject, but yeah, it's like
well, you're painting a picture that there's something much bigger at play than just like looking at, okay, this level and the next level, that there's potentially much higher levels, which involves, you know, stuff that maybe we don't even understand in this experience now.
Because I've got a feeling, I'm picking up on the future readers listeners, and watchers going, what about angels and guides?
Yeah.
I can hear it. So
that's
a great question. Everyone who's thinking that, like, it's the same kind of thing. So we have angels and guides around us. So spirit guides, for example, are sometimes they're souls that have had lives with us before, and then they're watching over you as a guide. Well, sometimes, which is even more fun, spirit guides, I've met plenty of people where their spirit guide is actually themselves from a past life. When they've been say a samurai, something like that, samurai swordsman is standing behind them and they're working with them, but it was them from a past life. Because the time, you know, that's a whole nother
my
topic.
brain hurts right now.
Yeah.
My brain really hurts right now. Yeah.
It's kind of like explaining we're on Earth, we're living this life on Earth, but it's not just us. There's so many other things that make up this, which is trees, you know, ants. There's not just one type of ant, there's, you know, 10, 20 different type of ants. Bees. And
look, a lot of religions aren't very different to that. I mean, we're just talking about it, I guess, in a different source. You know, a lot of the religions explain it in different ways as well. So I guess, I guess even just trying to follow, my brain does hurt, just being honest. But so with, and look specifically with that, with this one last thing, with spirit guides, could a spirit guide that you have, or someone guiding from another dimensional realm to help you in life, could that be a twin flame?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to communicate with Daniel on that level. That really, should I get into that?
Sure.
That's going to hurt his brain, though.
Let's hurt his brain.
More?
We might need to come, you know what? It might be too much, and we might need to come back to it. We can come back to it in another episode where people have like had a chance to, I don't know, have a drink of water or something.
Have some Panadol.
When I say other people.
Flames. It's about the twin flames, though. Like, it is just another way of explaining about souls and bodies. So I feel like I need to tie it up. If
good,
you know,
please.
If they're hurting their brain, then they can turn it off and listen to the rest.
Good. Mine's already hurt, but I'll stay with you.
Good job. You can handle it.
Yeah.
So, and this is actually touched on in one of the Dolores books, which was a confirmation for me, which I nearly fell off the bed when I was reading it, because I got shown this about Daniel. So, I was communicating with my twin flame in meditation form for a few years, writing letters and seeing them, and I got told they can come into an existing body that's already alive with a soul in it. So I was like, okay, however that works, they can choose to merge with another soul, or sometimes and this is a bit more confusing, it's a bit that hurts your brain, can hurt your brain a little bit. A soul can tap out, decide it's too hard, but swap with another soul in a body.
Right.
But they come in with they come in with all the memories and knowledge, like they get downloaded with all the information of this person's past, so they don't even know. Because sometimes, so for example, when Daniel's talking about how he went through his lowest part of his life and he wanted to tap out, he was done. Well, I found out afterwards, like during this meditation tuning in, that was shown, it was very emotional discovering this, that he actually did tap out during that time before I met him. And the twin flame, but the other part of me, the higher self, entered into him, because it's like, well, she's ready to meet you. His old part of his soul's just had enough, tapped out, and they're ready to merge together. So they traded, they swapped. And that's when all of a sudden we started connecting on the physical, and we met. So yeah, and he came with all the memories of life. So it was a bit overwhelming, me trying to explain to him that he's not actually the same person he was prior.
That's wow. Okay, that should hurt Daniel's brain more than mine.
He knew it, like at the time, he was just like, wow. And he understood it. He was like so cool about it. He was like, that makes sense.
Okay.
Like you just feel like you understand. So at the time, I was hoping my husband would become my twin flame. Like I was trying to save my marriage. I wanted him to grow and evolve and accept me, and it would be great. And I was hoping that the twin flame would merge into him. It didn't happen.
Which is interesting, because outside of talking about twin flames or people having twin flames, and as you said, that people might not necessarily have a twin flame as well, but what you're talking about is a very common thing that people feel in relationships as well. And both of you have nearly given a great example of either way, someone staying because they've just gone, oh, well, that's it. And someone else going, I feel like I'm so trapped, I have to get out. And
true,
giving up on everything you thought the relationship was. It's interesting how there's still very, human experiences, even though we're talking about quite an esoteric concept of what's going on. It's interesting that it still plays out in quite common human themes and experiences that we have here. Which is interesting and leads me to my next bit, which is just that I know you guys actually offer a service together as a twin flame. So can we just wrap it up with that, maybe, of like how that works and what you guys do together for other people?
Yeah, well, because our energy together is so intense, and Daniel has learned a lot of what I do as well, but just us being in the same room together, like I always sound, I feel like a bit egotistical. It's hard to explain it without sounding.
You're a guest. It's fine. You're a guest. Just in this episode, you're a guest. You're good.
So just us together, being in a room with us together is healing in itself without us even doing anything.
Okay.
Everyone watching this, listen to this, is getting a level of healing for their heart chakras, just because we're twin flames together with the sole purpose of educating and sending love to everybody that's tuning in. So it's beautiful. And we offer as a service, like together, twin flame healing. But it's not just, you don't have to be a twin flame to get it. It's helping you fall in love with yourself, do some healing and help to work out, like I would tune in and work out what is going on, what to help you find your perfect partner, or just to fall in love with yourself, to be in a great space, because that's the first step. Everyone who's looking, gosh, that's my most common client, I think, is how do I find the perfect partner for me? Where are they? Where do I look? I'm like under the doormat. How do I bring them in? It's like, well, until you've completely loving yourself, you're just going to keep attracting lessons. So that's what we offer as more of an intense, it's like, just a beautiful healing. Whereas Daniel's here as well, holding space. We both might put our hands on your backs if it's in person, together to do the healing. Just intensifies it, because we've got that balance of divine masculine and feminine. So it helps bring that balance into the person, to set them on the right path, and a whole lot of other stuff that would get channeled and stuff too, to help them figure out what the next steps are, where they need to go to just be blissfully happy, whether it's single with somebody else. Know if you have a twin flame as well, if that's your purpose of why you're here on earth. But if you don't, you'll have other reasons why you're here, and we'll help you find the soulmate that's going to tick all the boxes and help you figure out what you're doing with your life as well, I guess.
And can you guys do that online as well?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Because energy is everywhere. We don't have to
Okay.
actually be physically in
Yeah.
the same room. Like just listening to this will be, you'll be getting some goosebumps, I'm sure, at different stages of listening, and just feel something. You won't even know, and it doesn't matter. We'd love the feedback too. If you notice anything shift with you over the next few weeks, anyone who's watching or listening after listening to this, let us know if anything shifted for you, but you might not realize it has anything to do with it, and that doesn't matter at all.
So if it's really resonating with somebody and they'd like to get in touch, is the best way to just go on your get in touch via your website? Yep.
To book one with the two of us is called a twin flame healing. It goes for I think an hour and a half. It's not double the price, it's like a price and a half. So, which is nice. And we just get to we can book I think an hour or an hour and a half. Just get some beautiful twin flame love energy, because it is pretty rare, I guess. And we love being of service, helping other people find their selves and falling in love with themselves, which is the most important part.
Wow. That's so interesting on so many levels, the falling in love with yourself, talking about self-love, and then you guys are yourself as well. That's just on so many levels. Very interesting. And that's and offering that's really interesting.
That's really, doesn't it? Like, our perfect partner is like us. But that's what everyone's looking for, really. Like when you write a list of mirror, you want to find the other side version of you. If you're happy with yourself, you do. So you're not.
Interesting.
Are you trying to find someone that's opposite you because you're not happy with yourself, or you wanting to find a reflection of you? So it's an interesting one to think about. I just got goosebumps again.
Wow. I think that's going to be really helpful for people as well. So that's OptiMysticXzavia.com.au.
Yes.
Yep.
Good job.
Excellent. So, and they can get in touch with you and talk about setting up a twin flame or divine flame session.
Change the name to divine flame. But
with you lovely, beautiful people. Excellent. Was there anything else you wanted to add to this? Is there anything else anyone should know, or have we tied a neat bow for now? Like, there's so many questions, I'm sure. Like I was doing meditations to get in touch with my twin flame. I'm sure there's like thousands of questions where people are going, wait, what?
I hope there's questions. Yeah.
So bring questions in.
We could do a second episode if there's lots of questions.
Yeah, that might be good. Would you be happy to come back all the way from, I don't know, your living room to come back and interview Daniel, or is that?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's excellent. Okay, wonderful. Well, this has been a really enjoyable conversation. Thank you so much for being really open as well and letting us into, your incredible world, and on a really honest level. And I think that's going to help a whole lot of people that are listening on many different levels outside of twin flame, but just about trusting yourself and loving yourself and following your heart. So that's a beautiful story. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for another episode, but that doesn't have to be the end of the conversation.
Feel free to leave your comments on our YouTube channel, or for those podcast listeners, you can email us at mickandthepsychic@gmail.com to leave your feedback or questions.
I'm a certified hypnotherapist and timeline regression therapist. If you wish to contact me to explore the source of an issue you're facing, just book a session at hearnhypnosis.com.au and include the promo code MATP for 10% off. You can contact me on Insta and Facebook at hearnhypnosis. Check out my website at OptiMysticXzavia.com.au if you feel you'd like to connect with me as a psychic medium, spiritual mentor, or intuitive coach. Include the promo code MATP for 10% discount. You can also find me on Insta, LinkedIn, and Facebook. We look forward to connecting with you again next time as we attempt to leave no stone unturned. Bye. All right, cool. I reckon that should be okay.
Yep.